Welcome back, everyone, and I'm here again with Jeff Grant, SBR contributor. And today we're going to be looking at that college football game between the USC Trojans and the Boston College Eagles. But first off, how you doing this morning, Jeff?
Doing great, Dax. We're getting ready to finish out non-conference play. Really looking forward to conference action, but this is an affair that I think a lot of sports bettors are going to be interested in because I think USC is a bit overvalued in this spot.
All right, man, let's start by mentioning that the Trojans actually had a most recent hard-fought win over the Stanford Cardinal in their Pac-12 opener last week. Now, my question here is, how much does a victory like that take out of a team that's preparing to travel across the country?
Takes a lot out of a team, especially a team that's been under NCAA sanctions the last couple of years, which has limited their scholarship, the amount of scholarship players. They only traveled with like 50-something players last week up to Palo Alto. So the team's depth is definitely going to be tested. The good thing for the Trojans, they'll likely come out with a straight-up victory in this contest, and then they have a bye week before they get back into Pac-12 play. But when you face a team like Stanford, and if you watch that game, Stanford's offense was on the field for a vast majority of that game. And if you know anything about Stanford, they're one of the more physical teams in the country. So I think the Trojans may struggle a little bit, especially on the defensive end in this matchup.
All right, now let's shift our focus over to Boston College. Now, they split their first two games of the season, and many are pegging this as a rebuild year for the team. But in your opinion, what can we expect to see from the Eagles this Saturday night?
You just really don't know what you're going to get from the Eagles, Dax, mainly because their head coach has already mentioned that it is a rebuilding year, and Steve Addazio plans on playing a lot of young players. Nearly 48% of the team's roster is made of freshmen and sophomores. But the good thing for the Eagles in this matchup, I mentioned that the Trojans' defense may be a little weary, and that includes defensive tackle Leonard Williams, who is expected to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. But he played on a bum ankle last week, really went all out. So I'm not expecting him to repeat that type of performance, especially with the Eagles having a senior-laden offensive line, 5 starters that have a combined 94 starts. So if anything, the Eagles should be able to control the line of scrimmage when having the ball offensively.
All right, but Jeff, now the Trojans, they actually have a nice trend going on when they play Boston College, as they've actually won all 4 previous games against them. Now, should this be a stat that could be good enough for bettors to actually feel confident in backing them as a road favorite in this spot?
The Trojans are definitely attracting a majority of the action, Dax, in the early going. But the thing is there's been a bit of a reverse line movement going. The Trojans open as 20-point road favorites, already bet down to 17.5 in some spots. I think the odds makers could have easily established the Trojans as 21-point favorites and received balanced action. So it's very interesting that they opened them up at 20 and now it's at 17.5. Will it get as low as 17 and then action on the Trojans increases to get that type of number? We'll wait to see on that. But you got to look at the fact that the USC is 1-7 against the spread as road favorites since 2012. And also, this is Steve Sarkisian's first year since coming from Washington. During his time in the Pacific Northwest, Sarkisian was only a road favorite 5 times, and he went 2-3 against the spread in that situation. So I wouldn't exactly back the Trojans.
All right, so taking into account all those factors, who do you think is the best bet in this case?
I'm going to recommend the Boston College Eagles as a home underdog here. They fought back pretty well against the Pittsburgh Panthers in a primetime contest. They've had a couple extra days to prepare for this game than the Trojans, so that's definitely to their benefit. But don't go crazy on this one because, like I said, Boston College is a young team, and you just don't know how they're going to respond. But I think they should be able to stay within this number, as I think USC is going to look to grind it out in the second half and use that running game. So I don't know if the Trojans are going to score 40 to 50 points in this one, which provides some value on Boston College.
All right, good stuff, my man. Thank you once again for all these valuable insights, and we'll talk some more football tomorrow.
Thank you.
And for SportsbookReview.com, this is Dax Floyd.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.